Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I have had the most magical week. I've had the most amazing week. I've been away. I've been away on a little mini break, a little mini holiday. So I finished writing my book and it was a very, very big month. January was bloody enormous. So I did writing and writing and writing. I did so much writing, I inflamed all the tendons in my arm. My arm doesn't work. And I was completely exhausted and my brain was completely fried. My brain actually felt like a lemon that had all the juice squeezed out of it. I had no juice left in my lemon. My brain was a little bit fuddly, and it wasn't really working. It wasn't really working at all. Anyway, back in January was my mum's birthday. And for my mum is, I think she's 76. Yes, she's 76. So I thought for her birthday, she doesn't really need anything. You know, we're at the 76th year, we don't really need another fucking vase or something, do we? So I thought, I don't think you need any more things. And she's not really into things. And I thought, I know, for her birthday, I'm going to take her to visit her sister. Now, her sister lives in Wanaka, which is the most gorgeous part of New Zealand, down by Queenstown, in the bottom of the South Island. So we flew down here to have 3 days with my auntie. And, so my auntie lives in Wanaka, has a rule. It's called fish rules, and her house has fish rules, which means 3 days and you're off. 3 days, you've gone off. You're not allowed to stay more than 3 days. So we booked it for 3 days, and it was a surprise for my mum. Anyway, what was gorgeous was she didn't know. So she then once she found out, I said, right, we're going on the plane. We got on the plane. That was magnificent. And we arrived here, and her big brother and his wife and her other little sister were also here. So she's had the most magical time. So my job was just to hang out. That was my job, to hang out. Now, this whole week, if I had to sum up the week, it's been about kindness, connection, and cups of tea. Cups of tea. So that's the observation. Just the people in the South Island are so kind. I mean, people in New Zealand are generally kind, but people in the South Island, oh my Lord, they're a different level. So we had the most amazing start to the trip. My uncle picked us up. So we had to travel about an hour and a half from the airport to my auntie's and uncle's house. And I said, well, we'll get a rental car. No, they had to pick us up. So we got picked up, and then just about half an hour out of Wanaka, we had a big problem, and the radiator, blew up, and there was steam and there was heat and there was drama. And I thought, oh shit, this doesn't look very good. So I said, look, we're on the side of the hill going over what's called the Crown Range, which is a bit of a sort of intrepid kind of road. And as we were driving very slowly with steam coming out the bonnet and about to pull over, I said, pull in here. There was a yellow letterbox. I said, pull in here. And these people look lovely. I can tell they've got a cherry yellow letterbox. So we drove down the drive. I said, look, they'll have a hose. Maybe we just need some water in the radiator and then we can chug on. Anyway, we pulled down the drive. Fuck, I'm bossy, aren't I? I'm so bossy. Listen to me. Anyway, I think I know about radiators. I don't, but I was trying to manage the people. So we drove down the drive, pulled in, and here is this man in a garage. And now this man's got a garage full of tools. He looked like he was just the man for the job. So we pulled in. My uncle got out and said, look, sorry, we've got a bit of a car problem. Could we borrow a hose and fill up the radiator with some water? And the man was just gorgeous. Peter, he said his name was. He came out. It was a stinking hot day. He came out. He was just lovely. He tittered around. He filled up the radiator. We had some water in the car. And then I thought, right. And so I said to my mum, right, looks like we're off. Bob's your uncle. Fanny's your aunt. We're out of here. And then he said, no, I think we're going to have to wait a bit for the car to cool down. So Peter yells out, our new friend Peter, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like Earl Grey or Lady Grey? I thought, oh God, Peter, you're lovely. Anyway, next thing, we're in Peter's house. He's got the most beautiful house. It's just this beautiful view. And we're in this lovely wee shady courtyard because it's so bloody hot. I'm trying to finish the last little bit I had to email for my book to send off to my editor. I've got my laptop out. He's making us cups of tea. We're sitting in the shade. And it was just lovely. Next thing, Peter's wife, Nikki, wanders out. She starts yabbering, and she was just the most delightful woman. And we had the best time. If there are these complete strangers, we're now sitting in their house. We were there for about an hour, and they were just so kind, like so kind. They gave us about 6 big milk bottles full of water for us to take on our journey. And They were just gorgeous. Anyway, turns out we had common friends, wasn't very far apart, the 6 degrees of separation. It was just lovely. We had all this magic happening. Magical people we knew. We sat and we laughed and we had people in common and friends and stories. Then we hit the road again with our bottles of water, compliments of Peter and Nikki, who were so kind. Now, we didn't get very far. The car broke down again. Oh, well. So we're on the side of the road and this lovely man pulls up and he said, "Hello, have you got car trouble?" Well, we said, "Well, we have. And look, it's the radiator. And we think we're just going to phone the tow truck. We'll phone the AA and get the tow truck to come because it's really not looking good." We'd decided at this point. We'd given it a shot. We'd given her a rest the car. We'd, done all the right things. No, we didn't think that was going to work. He said, "Let me drive you to Queenstown. Do you want to just leave the car here and I'll give you a ride?" I said, "Oh, you're so kind." And I said, no, we'll all stick together and we'll stay with the car. Thank you very much. We'll wait for the tow truck. But it was just like, just lovely people. Then another car pulled up. We had all these lovely people just pulling over and offering us assistance. Then we decided to drive a little bit further to a safer place to leave the car, a little bit of a lookout. We got to the lookout and there was steam coming out of the bonnet at this point. Another lovely man came over and said, "I've got a water bottle. Would you like some water for your car?" I'm like, oh my God. We had 5 encounters of kindness in about 20 minutes. It was insane. And I was just noticing how stunning it is when you receive kindness from strangers. Like, any kindness is lovely, but kindness from strangers was just magical. So then anyway, after a little bit of a delay, quite a lot of delay, we finally arrived and it was just gorgeous. And I've just spent this last 3 days watching my mum and her 2 sisters and her brother catching up and connecting and laughing. Now, they're all retired. And it's been quite funny because they have a very slow life compared to mine. It's very slow. So we've had a bit of a slow time, but it's been just gorgeous. And, everything is punctuated with a cup of tea. There's a cup of tea. You get up in the morning, you have a cup of tea. You get some toast with some marmalade, and then it feels like 10 minutes later, but it's about an hour. There's another cup of tea with a slice of some description. My auntie's a very good baker. Then it's a sandwich and a cup of tea. Then there's a cup of tea after the sandwich, usually with another slice or a piece of cake. Then at about 3 o'clock, there's another cup of tea. And then after dinner, there's another cup of tea. And so I don't really drink. I drink a lot of herbal tea and I love coffee. No espresso machine here. No. So I've been on the tea. It's very cute. And the tea happens, there's a warming of a teapot, the whole bit. And I just love it. And I really love how tea becomes a ceremony for slowing down. It's like a ceremony just to savour the conversation and sit. And so we've had these, 5 or 6 punctuation points throughout the day where we have to stop and drop and sip the tea. And it's so cute. And I say, "Right, shall we go now?" No, we can't go in the car until we've all had a cup of tea. Oh, all right. And then when we get home, the first thing we do is, right, now we have to have a cup of tea. I love it. And my grandma was like this, and I haven't experienced this for a very long time. And it's just been so cute to watch all this connection. And, I've been writing about emotional energy in my new book, and this kind of connection fills your emotional energy tank. Like, it just fills you up, and it gives you this gorgeousness of being able to see people and be seen and listen to people. And, some of the conversations, just absolute twaddle. Everyone's comparing their blood pressure medication and yabbering on about what's wrong with their feet and their legs and their arms and their asses and whatever else is wrong. I don't know. But it's cute because when you can just talk about nothing and feel like you've covered everything, So I love that. So I just really love that. And my observation this week is it's been the perfect slow down. Just to slow down. So if you're in a busy time, if you've hit the ground running and your week's suddenly gone whoosh because it's the beginning of the week and everyone's back at school, and I don't know about a lot of people this week have found they're back in the hot seat. It's everyone's back to school, everyone's back to their normal old bloody routines, and we're all back in the slipstream of life. And I feel really lucky to have had this little bit of time of just going, you know what, just going to have a cup of tea. So I'm planning to continue the ceremony of tea. So not running around with a coffee in a takeaway cup like my normal day is, but actually to sit and pause and have tea. And just to be really kind. I'm just going, I've got a lot of kindness to pay back to people. So I'm looking for people that need help. I'm looking for people that I can be kind to, because I think you never regret being kind, do you? Never regret it. And I just love it. It's been absolutely lovely. So I'm leaving here tomorrow and heading home, and it's going to be nice. I've had a really nice it's been a lovely little dip between book writing and back to life. Back to life. So there you go. So that has been my observation. It's all about kindness, all about cups of tea and the connection that comes with that. So have a wonderful weekend. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. If you're in New Zealand, have a fantastic Waitangi Day. Ka kite anō.